Hey everybody, welcome to day 6 of Bookmas. Hey everybody, my name is Sophie, the Bookish Floor. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna be talking about book number 6 of Bookmas, and today I have a very good book for you. So this one is Good Spirits by B.K. Borison, and it's gonna be right here. And I'm sure you've seen this book around. B.K. Borison is a well-known author. She is the author of the Love Light Farms. Again with the titles. I know you're probably gonna be like, girl, do your research, be prepared. But I just come talk to you about books that I love. The thing that I can never remember are the titles. I don't know why they escape my memory. I forget title names, the exact titles. I forget characters' names, but the message, the story, it's in there. The feeling when I'm reading, it's all in there. Anyways, that she already had that, I believe is 3 books, that trilogy, and she's very famous for that. And I read the first book. I haven't continued in the trilogy. I did like the first book. It wasn't like my ultimate favorite book, but I did like it. There were a couple of things that I wasn't particularly super excited about, and I did talk about them when I did the review of that particular book. But I was intrigued enough, and I think at one point I will continue on with that particular series. But I saw that she had a holiday book coming out, and that a lot of people, obviously because they're so excited about her books, they were excited about this one, and I decided to give it a try. So when I started listening to it, I realized, again, I just went in full force, did not read the blurb, did not read anything about it. I just went in blindly. And when I started listening to it, I quickly realized that this is sort of a Christmas Carol retelling. Now, I have read books like this before, and I like the books that I've read, but again, I have seen several interpretations of A Christmas Carol. I have read the original Christmas Carol, and I have read even last year I think I read a retelling of the Christmas Carol. So I thought, like, okay, here we go again, let's see like the take of this one. And honestly, at the beginning I was like, okay. And I think even in one of my stories on over at Instagram, I talked about the fact that I was listening to this book and maybe I wasn't like super into it. And I have a confession to make. I did kind of took longer. I didn't read this in a day. This is a longer book, so I knew I wasn't gonna finish it in a day. I knew that I had to read other like shorter books in between, and I had to take my time with this one, and it was taking longer for me to get into it. So I took my time with it, and I was slow. I didn't want to DNF it or anything. It wasn't bad or anything. I wasn't bored, but I knew that because it was a retelling of a story that I already read and that I've read many iterations of it, I wasn't like totally surprised, engaged with it at the beginning, and I was just sort of seeing what else was there, kind of waiting for it to surprise me. And at the beginning, let me just go ahead and give you like a quick recap of what it is. Is this sort of like a grumpy sunshine trope? She is the sunshine. She is this sort of rebellious, hippie, happy girl who owns an antique shop. And he is the grumpy ghost who comes and visits her. And this is the sort of the twist, the switch. Instead of her being the Scrooge and him being the ghost that comes and sets her right in her ways, he kind of comes like that's his job. He is supposed to set people in the correct path, but she's like good. There's nothing wrong with her. So when he comes and visits her, she's like, I'm a good person. What are you doing here? Clearly this is a mistake. And he's like super mean, super rude. She's obviously thinking like, you're a burglar, get out of my house. When he explains what he is and that he's a ghost, she doesn't believe him until they have to go on one of those ghostly adventures, I guess. And we quickly realize the dynamic that he is the grumpy, she is the sunshine, he has some issues, and there's something going on here. And she actually says, I think this is wrong. I think I'm supposed to help you because you obviously have issues, and I think I'm supposed to help you cross over or something because I'm good. I'm good the way I am. So that's the twist, that's the dynamic, and I actually like that. But that sort of keeps going, and he's kind of mean to her at the beginning, and I don't like that. I didn't like that. I know now that that was the dynamic, but there was something rubbing me the wrong way. But I was still giving it a chance. I was still kind of holding on. I don't know if it was the fact that I'm doing Bookmas, that I'm kind of putting my attention on other books, that I'm trying to do all this content, that this is also like a super busy week. There's a lot of things going on, and my attention wasn't fully on the book, that I wasn't able to get too into it at the beginning. And like I said, because I think this is also bias on my part, because I already read so many of these stories. I was like, okay, what else is new? So yeah, definitely I think that affected the first part of my reading, but I still wanted to give it a chance. So I let it kind of, like I said, I read it in a couple of days. I didn't give up on it. Whenever I kind of felt like it wasn't getting my full attention, I kind of took a break, focused on other things, and then came back to it. And I'm so glad I did, because today when I had a chance, I just focused my full attention on it. I was doing some other work and I was listening to it 100%. Like the other work that I was doing, I was able to do quickly, and it was work that I can do while I was paying attention to the book, and my full attention was on the book, and I was totally into it. I wish that if you are not doing Bookmas, or if you're not doing this crazy Bookmas that I'm doing, if you're just looking for recommendations and you just want to read a couple of books, I would recommend you pick this one up. Once it got my full attention, I was in the story. There's still a couple of things that he does, or language that he uses that I don't particularly like, but this is a me thing. Maybe a lot of us think, but I don't like it when male characters say things like, you're mine, like you're supposed to be mine, like it's not an object. That like possessive phrasing I really don't like. I like phrasing more like, we're supposed to be together, we're meant for each other. Things like, you're supposed to be mine, really irk me. I find it like a big ick, and he said that a couple of times, and I'm gonna forgive him because I like him during the rest of the book. And like I said, the whole grumpy thing, there's a reason for it, and you get it at the end. And then I don't want to spoil the book because I want you to enjoy it. But let me tell you, by the end, this book had me crying, had me feeling things, had me crying, had me like I knew what was gonna happen. I mean, she is getting visited by a ghost, and this is a romance. So, I mean, I think you can figure out what's gonna happen at the end. But it had me like thinking like, why? And it just had me like full attention, crying for the characters. Never thought that would happen. I rarely cry reading books or listening to books. This thing needs to be a movie. This is perfect to become like a holiday movie that could be a staple. Someone needs to pick this up. I need to see it like on my roster of holiday movies next year. I don't want it to be like a cheap TV version. I want someone to like pick it up and like invest some money, because this is a ghost and there's some magic involved in a lot of parts. It's a fantasy, so this guy is gonna travel through time, and there's gonna be memories, but there's also parts where there's magic. Think of Bella Swan and Edward Cullen and bursting at certain scenes with magic that's happening in this book. So we need that budget. We need that budget for this book. So I need someone to pick it up, Summit, call BK Borson, pick this movie up, pick the rights for this movie, make it happen. We need it next year. So if you want a good romance book, if you want a good holiday romance book, if you want a good cozy book, this one's the one for you. I was gonna say could be biased, but really this book wasn't holding my attention, and at the end, a total 180. Like I said, I was crying, I was rooting for them, I was picturing the movie, I need it on my roster next year. It totally won me over, and I cannot recommend it enough. The only thing that I have to say, I don't know what it is about romance books, but it used to be that we had to let you know whenever there were spice in books. And I feel like now we have to let you know whenever there's not spice in books. So every single book that I've read so far that is a romance has a lot of spice in it. And this one is no different. There's a lot of spice in it, like a lot. Like I said, if you think about Edward and Bella in the movie, burst of magic level, and obviously because this is a book, it's a lot more detail. So just FYI, if you are not into it, that's what you're gonna read, or just what you're gonna listen. You can skip it in the audio or in the book. You can skim it, whatever you wanna do. That is just my FYI for you guys, because I know that a lot of people don't necessarily like that, or find like it's not your preference of read. Honestly, I don't care either way. I just noticed that it didn't used to be in a lot of romance books, and now it's in every single romance book. But it's there in case you're wondering. So yeah, just an FYI for you guys. I'm not gonna give it a 5-star, even though I ended up loving it at the end. I'm gonna give it a 4-star because it really took a long time for me to get into the story. Like I said at the beginning, I found it a little repetitive. The relationship with the main character and her family was a little wonky for me at the beginning. I wasn't sure. I'm not sure if it was me. I think definitely this is gonna be a reread, and maybe in my reread I would give it a bigger rating. Honestly, I'm more thinking about a 3.5 to 4, but I think 3.5 is too low. Knowing that it was probably that it was how busy it was my error, knowing how busy I was, knowing how I wasn't paying my full attention to it, and knowing how much I liked it at the end. I feel like I feel comfortable giving it a 4, and then maybe at a reread I will find more things to love it. There is a family dynamic, like I said, with the main girl that I found incredibly sad and hard at the end. At certain points it felt a little cheesy. It could have been done a little bit better, but it's not the main plot of the book. It is part of our main character's arc, and when I say cheesy, I'm meaning the dialogue with those particular family members. But the reason why everything is happening, it's good. It's just how the conversations were going that I felt a little clunky for me. But other than that, like, it serves the story, so it's fine. But yeah, that was Good Spirits. I really did like it, like I said at the end, and I was really happy with that book. So that was a complete success when it comes to romance, cozy romance, holiday romance, sort of the ones that I've read so far. This one is definitely number 1 in my book, so I'm very excited that I have a win and the number 6 of Bookmas. I mean, the other ones have been good too, but some better than others, and I think I might start doing like a ranking soon for you guys. Maybe at the end of this week I might do like my favorite books of the week. Okay, so let's go ahead and check my bingo card to see what I can check off. There's a lot of things that I haven't checked off. Let's see, what can I check off? I think I'm gonna check off the bell, because this bell looks a little like antique, and I feel like this bell would be perfect for her antique shop. And I think I might check off the star, because that burst of, there was so much mention of the burst of magic, not only in certain scenes, but every time he would go to his past or her past, we would see that burst of magic, and it would just feel, again, magical. Like, obviously, because he is one of the ghosts of Christmas past, I guess you would expect that. But it was like, I would forget that this was like a magical book, that it was gonna have that fantasy element. I love those movies or books where they're set like in real life, and then all of a sudden you have like that burst of magic, or the little touch of magic that you don't know where it comes from, and it takes you out of it a little bit. I just love that. So let me see. I already marked a book that takes place in a different time and space. So I'm not gonna mark that one. Book this an impossible. Read a book that has an impossible mission, and definitely this one has an impossible mission. I didn't think they were gonna happen. So out of my reading prompts, the only one left is read a book about a different holiday tradition. So I haven't read that one. And from the extra round, read a book about a different holiday, read a book with a movie adaptation, and watch the movie. Next year, this one's gonna be the one for next year. Read a nonfiction book, and read a book that has a Christmas recipe that you have to make. So those are the ones that I haven't done yet. I think I'm gonna leave those maybe for next week. Maybe I won't mark anything tomorrow. So yeah, guys, that's it for day number 6. It was B.K. Borson's Good Spirits. Let me know if you have read this book. I know that a lot of people have it on their Christmas Bookmas TBR. I know it's only December 6th, but maybe you already read it. Maybe you're planning on reading it. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know if you want to read it now that I told you what it's sort of about. Not really, there's a lot of things that I didn't tell you, so definitely go and check out that book. And why don't you go ahead and put in the comment if you're planning on reading this book, if you read any other Christmas carol retelling, if you want to recommend them. If you don't know what to put in the comments, why don't you put a little ghosty for the ghost of Christmas past. Thank you so much for watching. Remember that you have all the ways that you can support my channel right there on the description box. Remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, do the bell thing. Thank you so much. Remember to keep reading and keep blooming, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.